Welcome to this episode of CynSpeaks. Thank you so much for joining. I say that at the end of the episodes, but I haven't been saying it at the beginning. And I just want you all to know that I am so thankful that you have chosen to spend a little bit of time with me today. Hopefully gain some knowledge that helps you grow in some way, shape, or form. So I appreciate you so much, and I'm so grateful that you have chosen this podcast to grab a little knowledge from. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the ego versus the heart. I know this is the focus for the month. Balance is the focus, but ego versus heart is a huge part of that. And we're going to talk about it in regards to platonic relationships. So we're going to talk about how the ego-heart battle shows up in platonic relationships. And I also have a trick that I use to test out some of my platonic relationships. So stay tuned for that. So one huge factor with ego versus heart in platonic relationships is that it shows up naturally, which is really cool because people in platonic relationships, it's a little bit different from romantic relationships because yes, they have their best foot forward in the beginning, but they let their guard down a lot quicker than in romantic relationships. So you get to see who you're dealing with a lot earlier on in platonic relationships than you do in those romantic relationships. So when you're thinking about this ego heart situation, right, in your platonic relationships, think about it in a way that is easy because it shows up on its own. So with this, you can think about time. I like the concept of time as we usually use it because it shows kind of how the ego versus the heart struggle shows up. Now, if you have friends that they only reach out to you because you have the hookup in the clubs or something, so they only will reply to you during club hours or regarding the club, something like that, or for something that's going to serve them only, right? But when it comes to holding space for you and when it comes to times when you need help moving or something, they're nowhere to be found. You might want to look at that relationship, because that seems like the other person is functioning more out of ego. And as you expand and as you grow, you're going to move into a heart space, and you may not align with these people that are too ego driven or the other way around. So as you achieve a much more healthy balance, you want to start to evaluate your relationships with your friends because they're so important to our day-to-day. I have a couple of friends that if I don't talk to them, it makes me sad. I love them. I have a couple of amazing soul sisters that I love so much, and I really love having them in my life. And I'm blessed that my friends also ascend with me and they expand with me. So I haven't ran into this issue, but I've seen it, and people have eliminated themselves from my life, but I don't even know what's called those relationships. So pretty much you want to look at time and the motives behind time spent together, because quality time with friends is so important. So if your friends don't respond to you ever unless it serves them, you might want to look at that. And sometimes you don't really know what's going on the other side. And it's okay to ask, hey, is everything okay with us? Did I say something to offend you? Right? It's okay to have that dialogue, even in platonic relationships, because they are important. But being mindful of where other people's motives could be coming from will help you to set yourself up to continue to have healthy relationships. Also, you want to pay attention to the words that they use, the language that they use. And negativity is toxic. So even if you are aligned consistently, your thoughts and words are valuable, but your beliefs, right, can be influenced. So remember that your thoughts can be influenced by others as well. So when you're around friends that are negative, just negative. Everything that comes out of their mouth is just, oh, my life sucks, and this is just terrible, and I can't believe I have to go through this, and oh my gosh, this is so terrible. You don't even feel comfortable sharing good news with these people. It's almost as if you feel guilty for being happy around these types of people. How is that healthy when your sole purpose is to be happy? How can you be happy around people that are so unhappy? So maybe moving into a space where you limit conversations with these people, or, it's okay to hold space for people from time to time, but do it in a healthy way that doesn't harm you. And be careful, because toxic energy spreads. So think about that and listen to their words. Pay attention to where they're spending their time. Look at their habits. When you're evaluating friendships, you evaluate them. They are relationships. Look at that and see if it aligns with what you're doing right now or where you're going. Some friends cannot come with you to the next level. That might hurt a bit. That might sting a little. But some friends cannot come with you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to cut them off completely. But do not let people hinder your growth. Some people simply are not ready to go to the level that you're going to, and holding on to this person may stop you from growing into the full capacity that you can. So there are times where it may be you or them, and you have to decide what you're going to do. You have to decide what you're going to do about these platonic relationships, if they're helping you become better, if they have similar beliefs and thoughts and goals. You have to think about that. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be sensitive to everything everybody says, but be mindful. That is the key, is to be mindful. A test that I have used many times is the good news test. That's what I call it. And the test is pretty much, what you'll do is you'll share some good news with a friend and see how they react. Are they happy for you? If you talk about, oh my gosh, I just got this new contract, and I'm officially gonna be a millionaire. This is amazing. Of course, don't lie to your friends. But if this is true and this is happening in your life, you want to, sometimes share that with your friends. Sometimes see how they react. If they're like, oh, well, now you can help me, right? Or if they say, oh, well, I guess I wish I had it that good. Or if they say, oh, must be nice. That's a big one. Must be nice. Those people aren't happy for you. Those people are reacting to what you said based upon their space of lack. They function from a place of lack because they choose to. And those people could be toxic, potentially. Now, if your friend is just like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. If you get engaged or get married, this is a big one, especially with women. Oh, I found the best man ever. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. He just proposed, and I feel like the luckiest girl on earth. Now, if one of my close friends tells me that, me personally, my response is going to be like, you know what? I'm so happy for you, and I am glad, because you completely deserve that. And I have been manifesting that for you for so long. I have been sending you good energy for so long, and you deserve it so much. I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. That is it. It doesn't move into a space of, well, now you need to find me a man, girl, even though I'm super single. My focus in that moment of their good news is them, and helping them to bask in that, because that is what good friends do. So if your friends are immediately going to a space, well, you need to find me a man, or, oh my gosh, you guys, that's not even realistic, it's not going to last, or just anything that's negative or that steals your joy in that moment, right? They can't steal your true joy within yourself, but in that moment, if they immediately knock that away, you want to look at that relationship, and you may want to limit those conversations with those people, and you may want to kind of distance yourself, at least for a little bit, until they get their life right. It doesn't mean you have to be cruel to them, and it doesn't even mean you have to call them out. But it is so important to know where people stand so that you can protect this expansion that you've been working so hard on, because this expansion is not easy. When you're expanding and you're moving to next levels, like, it's huge and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lifetime of work. All of the things that you've gone through your whole life have brought you to this space. It is not by accident that you clicked on this podcast to play it. Everything is destined. So you probably need to hear this. Sorry to say, you probably need to hear this. And it is my hope for you that you have the strength to start setting those energetic boundaries as well with people that aren't coming with you. Because not everybody's coming with you to the next level, and that's okay. That's okay. So just remember that. Be mindful of that in your day-to-day. Use the good news test. Let me know how it works out for you. It has always worked for me. I can always figure out who my true friends are by their reactions to that. A heart-driven person will be happy for your good news without strings. And an ego-driven person will feel any type of self-serving emotion, jealousy, envy. They may covet what you have. So if they feel any of those things, that's an ego-driven person. You may want to be a little bit more mindful of the news you share and the time you spend with them, because they, sometimes people have motives that aren't pure. So you just want to be aware, and so that you can make the proper choice for you, because that's the most important thing. And if you miss the signs, so if you do the good news test and you think, okay, well, maybe they're just in a bad mood, right? And you miss the signs, I encourage you to just forgive yourself and it's okay, because the journey is lifelong and nobody's going to get it perfect. And you also don't owe an explanation to anybody. Remember that as well. So when you're going through this, you don't have to explain to anybody anything. I'm happy, period. And even that you can keep to yourself. So they'll see it through your energy and through your movements. So just remember that, to forgive yourself, and the fact that you do not owe any human any explanation about you or where you're at in your life. And you are allowed to be happy without strings. So just remember that and be mindful of that. I hope this helped, as always. Again, thank you so much for joining. I'm so extremely thankful. I really hope that this helped you somehow, some way. I hope that this spoke to you. I really feel like there's a couple of people listening that needed to hear this. And if that's you, I'm glad that you got the message, and hopefully it resonates in some way for you to improve your journey and make it a little better. And that's pretty much it for now. Make sure you add me on Instagram, #CynSpeaks. Subscribe, like, tag, share, all the things. And that's it for now.